I bet that you click this video for either of these two reasons. One, you have a title, but you want to improve it. Or second, you do not have a title yet, don't you? Well, whatever your reasons are, I totally get it. And what you're going through is very valid because it is a real struggle that we're all going through, right? Because the act of writing a title or creating a title or even improving a title is really hard because there are just simply so many ways on how to title a paper. You have the standard, you have the unusual, a little bit unusual because it prioritizes the mention of topic or the results of the study or the even the method, etc., etc. But the thing is, we can help you to sift through all of this information. How will you do that? Well, I am here to let you know about the two qualities of a good academic paper title. And once you know these two qualities, you will be able to improve your own current paper title now. Because I hope that upon learning these two qualities, you can either really write your own title from the scratch, or you can use these two qualities as standards to really look for the specific formula structure or just any kind of tips that you will get from the internet. Now, if you are ready to learn these two qualities that I am saying, let's first address the question of what makes a good title? Now, this is a very tricky question because the term good is very subjective. So, how can you objectify good in terms of writing a title? Well, you also have to bear in mind that the main rhetorical purpose of title has always been to inform. Maybe it can entertain or maybe it can persuade someone depending on how you will justify it. But the thing is, a title is a succinct or a very brief, short string of words. So it cannot really do that much except for informing, right? So now that you have this, now that you have this knowledge in mind that the purpose of a good title is to inform, you now understand these two qualities, or you will now see the importance of these two qualities, because a good title has again a purpose and a strategy. So first, a good title is purposeful. Why? Now, I have two different definitions here, or like my recommendation or suggestion. And the thing is, we have two set of sentences here because you can either choose both of them or you can either choose one of them as your basis. So so without further ado, let's now tackle purposeful. So I have here that a purposeful title is that the words in the title should also mirror or appear in your main paper too. So why is that? Because if you include in your title some words that are not even brought up or just, synonymous with the topic that you're tackling to, but still, those words differ, right? So if the words that you encoded there do not really manifest in your paper, then that's unethical, right? You have to keep in mind that a title is just like an abstract. You should stay within the scope of your paper, because the second point about purposeful title is the fact that it should not be creatively misleading. Creatively misleading someone into reading your article, you know, is just unethical again, and also will lead you to overpromise so much about your paper. The thing with overpromising is the fact that it cannot, it's the fact that you cannot really save a lot of problems in this world. So over promising will only just lead to frustration to the readers because they thought that your paper will be like this or like that, but then it didn't perform that kind of promise. So that is why we have now to balance this purposeful quality with strategy, with strategic quality of a good title, because purposeful in itself is very idealistic. So now we have to turn to strategic, where it should be your title appropriately interesting to the field it is catering to. So this is an important stance that I want to take, because this can actually be one of your center points, or one of your base reference points on to how you will really structure your title, because this suggests that you are well informed, well aware of the current titles that are already in the market, in the scholars, Google Scholar, in the journals, and also at the same time, when you know about the current angling, or the framing of some of the titles that are appropriate to the field that you want your paper to join, also if you want to publish it or just want to post it online, a title can be actually a really good gateway to contribute to the knowledge base that they are creating, because I believe that the title in itself, that that is knowledge base, that is already a contribution, because a title, again, it informs you about something, right? So that is why for the second point, and this one is might be cliche, but I want to kind of have a little bit of a trick upon explaining it further onto the next slides, because what I want to say about strategy is that you have to be concise yet meticulous. It's very cliche, right? So it's I don't have to explain further because you already know it, because a lot of people don't have that much of attention span nowadays, right? So you have to be short yet sweet. So now, how to apply these two qualities in titles, in showing you what are the examples of a good title. Now we have here titles that are actually reflection of the definitions that I inputted in the qualities, or I wrote in these qualities, right? So now for purposeful, you have a longitudinal study of voice onset time development in L2 Spanish stops. Now I included this because this is a classical model of a title, right? And it mirrored the paper as I read it and as I scanned through it. And that is simply because you have here the methods, what they used, what topic they used, the variables that they explored. So it's simply ethical. And now we have here a very unconventional one because it is very creative. But the thing is, it's just a layman version, or reparaphrasing of their experiment's result. So this is not creatively misleading, because soft sensors that can feel it all is actually the results of their study, where they have this microchip ex- as an experiment that can simply just feel it all. So it's creative, but at the same time not misleading. So for strategy, we have here, what is the future of immunotherapy in multiple myeloma? Now, that is appropriately interesting to the field it is catering to, because as you can see, even though you have a budding interest in this kind of STEM field, it doesn't feel intimidating enough to read, right? But at the same time, it is appropriately interesting, because that is the kind of topics that they are discovering so far in the industry, or in the field that it is catering to. And now this one, it is not concise, but it is meticulous. And this is what I want for you to take as my last point. It might be concise for others or not, but sure, it is meticulous and it's very sweet. It's very filling. But the fact that I included a rule breaking title in here just proves my point, or my final point, that you do not really have to succumb to qualities, to standards of a good title. Sometimes you just have to bear those in mind so that you can be responsible with words, because words means what? Everything. Because title is not just a simple thing. Title is just like you. because you is important and you have to be really responsible writer to be an ethical citizen. That is all, and I hope you learned a lot from this lesson. Thank you so much, and see you for your titles, improvement, or whatever that is.